welcome back to Mike Plays Panzer Corps 2. So today we're going to do the first mission in Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of Russia. And this is a really huge set of scenarios because there's a few things to factor in here. For one thing, it's going to be Fedor von Butcherstein, the famous von Butcherstein twin. Erwin has been dispatched to North Africa and already conducted his first battle against the British and done really well. I, however, as Fedor, am going to be in charge of the invasion of Russia, the complete Operation Barbarossa. Now, the interesting thing is that after I choose Barbarossa as my option here, there are three different scenarios to play out. Those three are Army Group North, Army Group Center, and Army Group South. Now, I'm going to play them all three of them as Fedor, but only one at a time. And we're going to try to do them in some sort of sequence where we have to do the first mission of Army Group North, the first mission of Army Group Center, and the first mission of Army Group South. And each one of them will have different aspects of the mission to take into consideration. So we're going to start with Army Group North, which is supposedly going to drive north to Leningrad and take Leningrad. Army Group Center was supposed to hit Moscow, and Army Group South was supposed to go to the south and basically take the Crimea, Ukraine, and eventually Stalingrad. That was the plan, and it almost came to fruition. Now, one of the things that's interesting as we're going to proceed through this is I believe two of the scenarios, I believe Army Group South and Army Group North are both going to reach on their second or third scenario. They're going to go to Kiev. They're going to do the Kiev thing, and this is where the Germans decided to forego going straight to Moscow and instead turn around, circle back, and encircle 500,000 Russian troops and wipe them out around the city of Kiev. So we're going to have to choose whether we're going to pick our Army Group Center Army or our Army Group South Army. And I think we're going to be picking the Army Group South Army because that's going to have a very special weapon attached to it in the first scenario, which is going to be very interesting. So we'll be doing all that. All right, so what I'm going to do here first to get this started is I'm going to pick Barbarossa rather than North Africa. Erwin has already gone to Barbarossa. We're going to start with Army Group North, Army Group Center, and Army Group South. We're going to accept that. And then I'm going to be saying, they're going to give me the option, hey, the monumental struggle for the Ostfront is about to begin with the Axis powers bordering the Soviet Union across a nearly 3,000 kilometer front. How much is that in miles in a real measurement? I don't know, about 2,500. You must decide where to deploy your forces for this massive invasion. Strategic warnings. All paths eventually lead to Moscow, but each set of battles presents unique challenges and rewards. Well, we're going to start with Barbarossa North. We could pick Center, we could pick South. I'm going to pick North, and I'm going to say accept. If you pick Center, you would have a completely different set of options and battles to fight. And if you pick South, you have a different set of battles to fight even there. But however, again, remember, Center and South are both going to come together in the Kiev scenario at some point. So we're going to have to pick one of those different chains to go for. So we're going to be labeling our save games. I'm going to pick Barbarossa North, and we're going to go on and get the briefing from General Oberst James Mason, my commanding officer. Let's see what he wants me to do on Barbarossa North. As it loads, that is. Turn this up a little bit. Should have probably preloaded this so that it was already in the memory. That way we wouldn't have to wait for it to do this on screen, which is really exciting video to watch. I'm trying to play again with the volume. I hope I have the volume of the music down so you can hear my commentary over it, which we did not do very well in the first Africa video. Let's see what happens. Come on. Come on.
Guten Tag, Herr General. It's good to see you returning to active service. I trust you've been keeping your skills sharp in the years since our campaign in France, yeah? You're going to need them. Because tomorrow we will be joining in Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion the world has ever seen. Your unit's transfer to East Prussia has already been completed. You will be formally operating under Army Group North's command. The ultimate goal is far off Leningrad.
Far off.
But there's a long road to take before we reach it. Taking away control of the Baltic Sea from the Soviets will be dependent on securing many river crossings and ports in the region.
Capture all victory hexes.
Your first task is to rout any Soviet forces in the vicinity of the Niemen River. Early morning Luftwaffe raids have already decimated Soviet air power, so finishing off the Red Air Force at the airfield should be a priority.
Okay.
Next objectives are these key 3 cities on this river line here. Finally, Field Marshal von Lieb requires the major port of Tallinn and city of Pskov to be secured before further operations in the region can commence. As a final reminder, because it has been over a year since your last operation, be sure to check the equipment stocks of your troops. We wouldn't want to send them into Russia with obsolete weapons.
That's right. We have to upgrade our equipment. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting scenario because I got to get across the Niemen River here. I've got to take this airfield. I've got to take that airfield to have an air support, and then I've got to get across this other river at these 3 choke points, which have some swamps around them. So there's not going to be any easy place to cross except maybe out over here on the flank, and there's going to be a lot of resistance through here. So this is going to be an interesting scenario. Once I get beyond the river, then I've got to go up and capture these other towns, especially this one here. So I've got quite a lot of real estate to traverse and quite a few battles to fight. So that's what we're going to do. We'll be right back with setting the order of battle for the Army Group North invasion of Russia. See you in a minute. Okay, sorry about that. We are back to set the order of battle for this particular conflict, Army Group North battle. What happened was that I went ahead and did some stuff, but it didn't record. So somehow I got screwed up on the recording, so I'm going to have to come in and fix things here. So I'm going to set up the order of battle now. I'm going to start by putting my bridgers into critical spots. Oh, actually, I'm going to start by giving everybody full replacements. So I'm going to put my bridgers here and here across this river, the Niemen River. My first target is going to be Kaunas, which is a town I'm going to have to take. So I'm going to assign my 5th Grenadier to that. Let's see what... He's a butcher with a fearsome reputation, and I have these pioneers that have crippling blow and envelopment. Heroes, I'm going to give him the prudent hero as well. So I'm going to set up my grenadiers and my pioneers, my 2 specialized units, to attack the town of Kaunas. I also think, looks like I've got 2 paratroopers I can use. Fallschirmjägers, so I'm going to use them. I'm going to use them to try to take that that airbase, which I suspect is going to have a lot of aircraft there. I'm also going to apply a 3rd infantry unit, my least experienced infantry unit. But this is interesting. I'm gonna have to upgrade these and give them trucks because there's just too much ground cover. Oh, and I notice I've got a new SDKFZ 250/1, which is a lot more mobile than the old half-track. But I'm going to give them an Opel Blitz, and I'm going to give these guys an Opel Blitz. That's just it's just a truck. It's basically a covered wagon, and you're very vulnerable in it. You can't attack while inside of it. But I'm going to give my least experienced infantry unit a chance to go there, and then I'm going to upgrade these half tracks to the new half track for the bridgers, because they need to get far and deep if they're going to cross rivers and cover a lot of ground, so they would be naturally upgraded. And I'm also going to do the same thing for my grenadiers and upgrade them to the better half track, the more mobile one, and my pioneers, they're going to be upgraded as well. And then, theoretically looking at it, my other 2 infantry units, would get nothing. No, they're good. Okay. They're gonna get the old. They're gonna get the tracks. The Fallschirmjägers have nothing. Okay, so everybody's set. All right. So, just for the sake of it, I think my most experienced infantry unit is going to get a hand-me-down half-track, which is better protection, and you can actually fight from inside of a half-track. And I'm going to place them right here. Now I have artillery. It's really interesting because I'm going to face some tanks here, so I want to put out my 88 anti-tank guns, but they're also going to be we're probably going to face infantry first, so as an anti-tank weapon it's going to be slightly limited. I'm going to put my anti-infantry artillery out here. I'm going to look at the Sturmpanzer 1, and I'm going to upgrade the Sturmpanzer 1. And I've got 3 different choices. I've got a new 170 millimeter K18, which is a better artillery piece, but it's primarily for attacking armor. It attacks other artillery units, but it also attacks armor, hard target type, whereas the Wolverhampton Wolverhampton 40 is more of an infantry attack unit. Yeah, soft targets. And the Stug 3B. Now this is interesting. We've got a regular Stug 3B, which is a very common tank, artillery tank, support tank. And we've got the new Stug 3B, which has one extra feature. Okay, so it's got its artillery support against soft targets. It's suppressing fire. Has a lot of suppression. It's a bunker killer and it's an entrenchment killer. And they have the same characteristics, except this one has the additional characteristic of being able to switch to an anti-tank mode with that pussy little 75 millimeter howitzer. We're gonna upgrade to that one, and we're gonna place him right here, along with some of our other infantry. We're going to bring in our other experienced Wehrmacht infantry, and our cavalry is going to be placed there, along with our radio car, our recon unit. Oh, notice I've got a Panzer 2F recon unit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to overstrength him. He's got 2 experience stars now, so he's going to get a 12. He's going to lead the way there. And as I look at my artillery that's left, I have my anti-infantry artillery, which can be very effective. I'm going to put him here. And this is all going to be aimed at taking Kaunas, the town, and my heavy artillery infantry. Okay. Now, I do have an 88 here that I want to place, but I need artillery support for him, so I'm going to go purchase one of these more experimental rocket launchers, the Wolverhampton. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Stick him here behind that 88. And the other 88, I'm going to place here as an anti-aircraft gun for now. They're both going to start as anti-aircraft guns. So, again, as the General James Mason warned me, make sure that you upgrade your panzers. And so I'm going to put my other inexperienced infantry, I'm going to put him right here next to the Bridger, where he's going to cross the river Niemen. I'm going to put my motorcycle scout car right there where he can get across. Now I come to the anti-tank. I got my Panzerjäger 1. I could upgrade him to a 50 millimeter Pak 38 stationary gun, or I can go with this experimental self-propelled gun, the Dicker Max, which is a Very powerful anti-tank weapon. It goes up from 16 to 24 in terms of the anti-tank capability. It's not very mobile though, but I'm going to try that. It's a prototype. I always take my prototypes. I'm going to put him right here where he can engage in battle. I suspect there's going to be some Soviet armor up here. All right. Now I look at my tanks, my Panzers. I don't have a whole lot in the way of Panzers. I got a Panzer IIIH. What's his hero? He's the tank killer, so I'm going to upgrade him if I can. The 3H, there's the Panzer IIIG, which is normalized. Now this is interesting because I got the Panzer IIIH. Panzer IIIG is an inferior tank to the H. The H is later. But see, I've only got so many of the H. I've only got like 15 or 20 units, so there's no reserve. So if I upgraded him to a G or even an F, the F would have, Panzer IIIF would have the pussy little 37mm cannon. This has the short barrel 50mm anti-tank cannon, which is more effective, as does the H. But if I do that, I'm going to lose some capability in terms of ground defense and air defense. But I'll have unlimited reinforcements, so I can always reinforce him if he gets damaged. But I noticed down here over prototypes, I've got a Panzer IIIJ1 prototype. That is a brand new tank with a super long barrel 50mm cannon, which is a much more advanced 1942 tank. It's only 1941. I'm going to upgrade to that, and while, yeah, I'm going to max out his strength at 15. There's no reserves for him. At the beginning, he's going to be very effective. So I'm also going to change, because he's a tank killer, I'm going to change his camouflage a little bit, and we're going to go with a little bit more of the beat up red. There's this red Panzer color underneath, this sort of rubber ball red that the Panzers were covered with. I want to change him to that color so I can tell which one is my best Panzer III. Okay, and then I'm going to team him up with my Panzer IV E. Is there an upgrade for the Panzer IV E? Well, there's the Panzer IVF, which is slightly better at attacking other tanks. So I'm going to upgrade that guy and put him right next to my Panzer III. And I'm also going to do the same thing with the color with the Panzer IV. So I can... No, wrong tank. Okay. Let's go to deployed units. So I can tell more easily that these two work together. So, all right, so I've got quite a bit of armor and anti-infantry capability here. Basically, we've got two attack groups, one that's going to go north, secure my flank, and then head directly for the town of Riga. And the other group here that's going to fight through the siege of Kaunas there, and then go off to the right and try to cross the river near Gaglovlgus. There's an airfield there, a dirt airfield that can be captured. There's this this full airfield needs to be captured. There's a lot of stuff to do to get that. Okay, so a couple of other things. I got a Panzer IIIF. According to the historical charts, a Panzer IIIF was one of the probably the most common Panzer III type. I'm not going to upgrade him, even though I could. Could I upgrade him? I probably can. Yeah, it's interesting. Under prototypes, I lost that H, so the H is clever. I could upgrade him to a G, but oh no, there's the H. It's now a production vehicle. Well, look, I can't do that. That's just cheating the game a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is just leave him as an F for now. After this battle, we'll upgrade him to an H or a G. Okay, my Panzer IIc is a light tank and relatively effective, but I did notice that I can change him to a recon tank. Panzer 2F. So it's basically the same vehicle, only he's got recon capabilities. That means he can move more than once, and I can do replacements on him afterwards. So I'm going to upgrade him and put him here. And then my Panzer 1B, I'm going to upgrade that guy to this new Panzer 2 Flammen tank. Way, way up there in terms of infantry attack effectiveness. And I'm going to put him right here so he can get up in any infantry battles. And then my other Panzer for my southern group is going to be, southern division here is going to be Panzer 38T, the Czech tank. Okay, now I've got to put my Air Force out here, and the fighters are all BF-109Es. I'm going to upgrade the best of them because I now have access to the BF-109F, which has a greater attack capability. And I'm going to use the other red squadron is going to stay in E, and it will be right here. And then I've got my red JU-87B, which I think I can upgrade that to an R, and the JU-87R has a greater range. Other than that, he's basically the same tank. He's more effective at defending against air attacks and better naval attack as well. You know, I don't like his camo scheme. Is there another reddish camo scheme I can load? That's the winter scheme. Let's go with the summer scheme. Or is that the summer scheme? Yeah. Boring. Okay, well anyway, we're going to put him here to attack armor and other vehicles. And then we're going to form our blue squadron up here. Same thing, we're going to take the most experienced BF-109E. We're going to upgrade him to the F, which is in relatively short supply at the moment. And put the F there. And the blue BF-109E is going to be there. I'm going to leave this as a JU-87B, but he does get an extra experience star. So we're going to upgrade him and put him right there to attack any tanks. Now we have a BF-110D with very little experience, but I'm going to assign him to the red squadron. He can be he's a dual role fighter. He can fight or he can ground attack. Either way. The red seems more intense on the winter scheme, doesn't it? It's like, yeah. Kind of like him in the winter. I'm going to put him in the winter scheme. And assign him to the red squadron, where he will either be a fighter at the beginning. What usually happens is the Soviet Air Force is very powerful at the beginning of a scenario and weaker later. So you want to use him as a fighter at first and a bomber second. And then I'm going to assign the tactical, the Storch, the recon plane. I'm going to turn him red, paint him red in the red colors. Are there any other cool colors I could steal? Ooh, that's kind of cool. But I'm going to go with the standard red colors here. And put him in with the red group. And then I'm going to assign, and I'm also going to buy a Storch. I'm going to buy one for the blue squadron. And I'm going to make him blue. So we know he is assigned to the blues. Put him there. And then I've got my strategic bombers, my heavy bombers, which I'm going to use in this campaign. This is a JU-88A. He's got the most experience. So if there's an upgrade for him, oh yeah, I could upgrade him to the DO-217E. He's got 18 hard attack, 7 soft attack. That's pretty good stuff. Improved air defense. So I'm going to upgrade him. And he already has like a lethal attack, yeah. So I'm going to put the blue strategic bomber there. The red strategic bomber is going to stay at Ju-88A, but we are going to upgrade his strength to his experience star is 11. So we're going to put him there. And then I got to think, is there anything else I need here? I've got mobile artillery support against infantry to protect my 88. Got the same thing down here. I've got a flame tank. I got a couple of Panzer IIs. One's converted into a flame tank. So I got 3 recon units now. I got an anti-tank. Could probably use more artillery, but such is life. Such is life. I could use another infantry unit, because if I lose any of these infantry units, they're going to be hard to replace. Okay, let's go look at our heroes. We've got our paratroopers here. I've got a bunch of different heroes. I got 2 river assault heroes. Well, those are going to go to my Brucken Pioneer. River assault and river. These are my bridgers, so they're going to get those 2. And I've got a lethal attack. Now where's my Stug? Where's my Sturmgeschütz? Oh, there it is. But he's already got that. I'm gonna give it to the. I'm gonna give lethal attack to the rocket launcher, the Wolverhampton, because that'll increase his damages. All right, I think we're set. We're small, small force, Army Group North, but we will proceed. So let's go forward. Are you sure you want to end it? Yes, I'm sure I want to end this. Okay. First things first, send the scouting aircraft in behind. Okay, so doesn't look too bad here. I've got this 17 regular infantry. I will send my grenadiers to deal with him. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. And then I will send my now this is an interesting choice. My Pioneer, I'd like to send him out to finish these guys off. There's no point in a bridger coming down here because there's a swamp right around the town of Kaunas. But if I do because he doesn't have fast deployment as one of his heroes, he can go there and he'll he'll be ready to fight, but he can't actually fight. He's only got the 1 movement. Whereas if I send him still in his armored half track, he can attack and finish off those troops. Okay, let's go to our bridgers forward. We have a lot of we got a lot of infantry here. Gonna move my Stug up. Okay, cavalry. Regular Wehrmacht infantry. I'm gonna move my Stug up over here and attack him. Notice there's some Soviet troops up there in the town of Lipcha. I'm going to use my other storage to scan around. Yeah, we got some Soviet armor here. We got 2 KV-1s, a couple of T-26s, well, a T-26 and a BT-7, and some anti-tank guns. So, all right, I'm going to use my best DO-17 heavy bomber to heavily bomb the shit out of these troops, because these guys are a problem. What I've got to do is I've got to clear the infantry out so I can get my tanks up here, my anti-tank weapons, to fight that Soviet armor. So I'm going to bomb him from there. What's my best? These guys are the best because if they're forced to retreat, yeah, they're going to retreat right into the clutches of my other infantry, my cavalry. Shoot. And then these guys are going to attack there. Can this infantry make it? You can make it up over there. Alright, what I can do though is I can send my armored car up. He's going to take a hit from this anti-tank gun. So what should I do? I gotta save that strategic bomber. Oh, you know what I didn't do is I didn't buy the blues a BF-110, which I meant to do. I'll buy him for the next turn. I'm gonna buy them a full strength BF-110D, and they will be based right there. And I'm gonna paint him in blue camouflage, but I can't use him this turn. Meant to do that before we started the turn. Okay, so he's there for next turn. Alright, I don't think I'm going to get through this on one turn. So if I were to use the motorcycle troops, if I use this Stuka to attack that anti-tank gun, it's going to weaken it significantly, but the other Soviet armor is going to be coming and attacking my infantry. If I use this Stuka... Here we go. See, the problem is that this anti-tank gun is going to defend any attack on those Soviet troops who are very near the end, and I want to wipe them out. I'm just going to send the BF-110, which I would have liked to have used for air attacks. And he's going to attack and wipe out those Soviet troops. So now my armored car will actually attack those Soviet troops. And it can move further around if he wants, but I don't know. All those anti-tank guns, it's pretty dangerous. So, if I use my Flamen tank, he's got a very high attack against infantry, so I should be able to hit that guy and then hit this infantry. I get an overrun attack, and then I can attack with my regular infantry. See, I just don't have enough resources to really carry this out. Now I have my motorcycle car. Okay, let's move our rocket launcher here. Support these guys. Try to hit that. Now my Panzers can't actually reach through all that. Well, my Panzer IV can reach through here. But he's going to be vulnerable to counterattack. That's okay, because I'm going to hit that KB-1 and knock him down a notch. And then I'm going to move my 88. He's set in anti-aircraft mode. Screw that. I'm going to send him to anti-tank mode. I move him up here. He's going to take some damage, but he can defend himself pretty well. And my Panzer IIIJ and my Dickermax. I want to get my Dickermax into the fight here, but he's big and slow and heavy. So, going to move my Panzer IIIJ, my experimental J, which is a really good anti-tank gun. Now I've left I've left that guy vulnerable to multiple counterattacks. Let's hope he doesn't take any. I'm going to move the anti-infantry artillery up and try to wipe that guy out. I got my Panzer IIF scout car. Going to move him here just to try to cut off any counterattacks around the swamp. And then I'm going to move my infantry there, right up against Shaunas. And then I'm going to hit him with my anti-tank artillery, which is also effective against infantry. But that sets up Shaunas. Now what I'd like to do here is dedicate this Ju-87B bomber to attacking one of these two units, because they're guys that are going to have to worry about a counterattack on. First things I got to do is take out these Soviet airplanes. So I'm going to do that with my Bf-109F. Very ineffective attack. My other Bf-109E should take care of that. And then I'm going to hit this guy. Why this guy? Because I'm going to bring in my paratroopers and land them there. Knocked him down a notch. Now, can I get anywhere near? I can get the 88 up back here and weaken them. Okay, I'm gonna put my Fallschirmjäger. I'm gonna drop in and take the airport. And move him over to defend against that infantry unit. I'm going to drop him in, take the airport. I've weakened them sufficiently. And then I'm going to use this Ju-88 strategic bomber to weaken that infantry. Because what I want to try to do is get these two paratroopers to survive. It would be more advantageous if I had 3 paratroopers. So what do I do with my Ju-88? I'm going to use them to attack this BT-7. Okay, so I've got some KB-1s and some tank concentrations to deal with here. My biggest concerns are my Fallschirmjägers, and my 88 is exposed against a lot of enemy. But I mean, their biggest weakness is against infantry. I don't see a lot of infantry they're going to be able to get to them. So he can probably survive this particular ordeal. And then I've got these 2 other tanks. The T-38, 38T Czech tank, and my Panzer IIIF, who I can get going here. I think that's just about it for turn 1. And we're still recording, thank goodness. I'm going to put my armored car up out here to defend against that. A KV-1's half strength. I don't think he's going to be able to do a lot. Okay. I think that's it. Let's see what happens when the Soviets counterattack. They do this thing where they're simultaneously attacking. They took back the airfield, goddamn. And they killed my infantry. Okay, well, you know what? You're gonna pay a price for that. I'm gonna attack you with my Panzer II. Move him on up. Going to attack you with my 38T. Or I'll get you out of that airfield. I'm going to use my unharmed Fallschirmjägers to retake the airfield, and then I'm going to move my Panzer III I'm going to attack the T-26 with that. Might want to soften them up with the infantry. Okay, so the Soviet infantry came out of their shell and attacked my Stug. So I'm going to shell him with the Stug. I'm going to use my regular Wehrmacht infantry and my cavalry to try to get rid of him. Fucker is still surviving. So let's see if my motorcycle can finish him off. Okay, yes. Alright, I'm going to drive around and seize that town with my armored car of Lipsha. I'm going to reinforce him. Okay, so now I've got some problems. I've got my 88 survived, but I've got some anti-tank guns to deal with. I've got this T-26, which has already been attacked by my Panzer IIIF. I'm going to use my 88 to take him out. Not quite take him out, but I'm going to move him over there. I wonder how effective... You see, these anti-tank guns are considered soft targets, so they're better attacked with infantry. But this infantry has a chance to finish that tank unit out inside the village of Sayulani. I'm going to march this 2nd Wehrmacht infantry around to attack these anti-tank guns. I'm going to use my rocket attack and my Flampanzer, which should get a, he should get a bonus attack. He does. He gets an overrun attack. And I'm going to go after that anti-tank gun with Flammen. Alright, the biggest problems I have are these KVs. So how do I deal with KVs? Well, I softened one up with my Stuka, so I'm going to soften the other one up with my Stuka this time. I'm going to use my newly minted BF 109D to come in. And then I've got my Dicker Max. I'm going to use my Dicker Max for the first time in direct combat against this KV-1. And I'm going to use my special 50mm armed, long barrel 50mm Panzer IIIJ to attack the other KV-1. And he gets destroyed. So I've got two very vulnerable units here. The 2nd KV-1, 28th KV-1, and the anti-tank gun. Do I have more Soviet aircraft to deal with? I really don't at this point, so I can use the fighters to attack those ground forces. That was not as successful as I would have liked. Okay, that's going to be a 0-0. Instead, I'm going to take out a little bit of anti-tankery there, and I'm going to use my scout plane to see what's north. Nothing. Okay, so the armored car will be able to come up and take Ventpolis, and then we're going to move on Riga after we break through this line of Soviet defense. We've broken through it fairly well intact, and that's a good thing. All right, eventually I want to move this artillery up here, but for right now I don't have that luxurious option, so I'm going to have to hit you know, I'm going to rethink this. I want to bomb them with my heavy bombers, but here's the thing. Quirk of the game, which is that when you rebase planes, you rebase them in a counterclockwise manner, starting from the 9 o'clock position. Okay, so I hit rebase. So it's going to put him there, and then I'm going to hit rebase on this fighter, and it's going to put him over my 38T tank. Next one's going to go there. The next one's going to go there. And the next one's going to go there. So what I want to do is I want to take my BF-110D and I want to rebase him. So he takes that spot. Now I have two strategic... The strategic bombers are going to be more effective than the Stukas. Oh god, this Stuka could destroy... That Stuka could destroy that KV-1. I'm going to just go do that. He's got fighter cover. Damn it. See, now I wish I hadn't done that with this plane. I could have rebased him there. So here's the problem. I've got 2 planes left and I've got 3 slots. So I'm going to rebase my lesser Ju-88 is going to take that empty spot there. There's nothing to attack because you can attack and rebase on the same turn. And I'm going to rebase my Do-217E, but it's going to be right over that very stubborn Sovietsk infantry. I'm going to bomb the shit out of him. Okay, that's not going to be an option. The idea was to bring in, these 2 bombers into these 2 spots, but I ran out of planes. So I'm just going to use my heavy artillery here to attack the city of Kaunas. And I'm going to use my pioneer troops. Or no, these are just my regular Soviet. These are just my regular German Wehrmacht troops. I'm going to bring in my grenadiers. Do I bring in my grenadiers? No, they can't attack. The pioneers are more up to strength. I'm going to reinforce my grenadiers. And I'm going to just bring my 88. There's not much to do here. So I'm kind of trapped around this river, but I've done some good movement here. And I'm going to move this Bridger unit out just on the outskirts of the village of Ukmerge. Now, there could be some Soviet tanks out here, but I don't know. I'll have to wait and see if there's a counterattack on the town of Kaunas. But I've just about got that captured. Just need to wipe out these infantry guys here. I suppose I could attack them with those paratroopers. Yeah, pretty good. And I can now buy myself some more Fallschirmjägers. Put them right on this airbase. So, because they got wiped out. And I'm going to take this Bridger unit and I'm going to move him forward where he is going to attack and try to finish off that anti-tank gun. There's really nothing between me and Riga after I break through this line. And the only thing left of this line is this one anti-tank gun. So, we're in good shape. Moving very rapidly across the north. Okay, I think that just about does it. Yep, there's no more units. Well, I can move these troops out here. Okay. Alright, looks like we're ready to go. So, turn number 3. Let's see what the Soviets do. Wow, simultaneously attacking, and again I want to fix that. I thought that with this button off that was fixed, that was a toggle, but apparently it's not. So I have to remember to toggle that at all times. So I'm going to use my fighter jet here, my fighter plane at BF-109F, and hopefully my BF-109E will finish him off. Doesn't look like it. Not predicted. Okay, so my BF-110, I'm going to switch him to a fighter. Notice when I hit the switch button, he goes from bomber, ground attack, to fighter. And I'm going to give him a chance to finish that sucker off with an air-to-air attack. Okay, I'm going to use my scout, Storch, to scout ahead, see if we got any opposition. We really don't have any opposition, so I'm going to take this town with my Bridgers. I'm going to use my infantry to head over here and hit these suburbs. I'm going to use my grenadiers to finish them off. Make sure those guys get wiped out. And then my pioneers are going to head up this railroad track, all the way up near the town of Dagavalis. Okay, so off we go. Paratroopers are going to be used to take that airfield. And where's my other Fallschirmjäger? There he is. Launch him. Same mission, he's just a little bit behind. Strategic bombers. That guy's unused at the moment. The Ju-88. I'm going to reinforce the Do-217 because I'm going to need him. And then I'm going to get my scout car, Scout Panzer II, and my Czech tanks, and my 88. I'm going to move my 88 up over here. I'm going to convert this 88 back to aerial mode. Move him forward to weaken that aircraft, and then I should be able to finish him off. This my aces. This guy needs more experience. Let's have him fly up. Attack this Soviet fighter, this weak-ass Soviet fighter. What is it? An I-16? Come on, you guys. You ought to be able to finish these suckers off to attacks like this. My BF-109s are not all that effective. Alright, well then, the 110D that I just bought, he's going to switch him to air-to-air mode, and he will hopefully finish off this Sovietsky fighter. Okay, good. Now I've got to get rid of that anti-tank gun. Going to move my Panzer III here. My Pioneer, or my Brucken Pioneer, I'm going to move him up over here just to take that town on the outskirts. I'm going to move my armored car up to take Lijipa, and then move him across the peninsula and reinforce him. My cavalry I'm going to use to attack the anti-tank gun, the isolated anti-tank gun. I'm going to use my motorcycle scout car to wipe him out. And then I'm going to start bringing my troops and my Stug, which I'm going to use to take this town of Suliani. Okay, I'm going to reinforce some of my troops. I'm going to move the other ones forward along with my Wolverhampton. Get my Dicker Max and my anti-tank, anti-infantry Panzers up here. Panzer IIIF is going to go this way. I think that's everything. Okay, so we're well positioned here. Any rebasing that needs to take place? There's no bases on this side of the river besides that dirt airfield, which I don't have yet. I'm going to rebase this Stuka to the new airfield. Yeah, it looks like I'm pretty well sealed off here. Not a lot I can do. So it's really important that I get this airbase. The problem is that with the swamp right here, there's only 2 choke points across the river. Unless I can attack Jenklebus and take that, which is a possibility. All right, let's Let's send the Ju-88 there, try to soften them up. And the DO-117 just got reinforced. Okay, we're going to move our artillery forward. I actually need more artillery. More of the long-range artillery, that's for sure. And I think that just about does it for my movements. Oh, I can attack the troops in Riga with my rocket launchers, which I'm going to. Really, I need heavy-duty troops to take Riga. That would probably be my grenadiers, but they're way down over here, so it's not going to be practical. And if there's an armored counterattack out here in these fields, I'm fucked, because I don't have much to defend them with yet. So, alright, let's wait and see. And a turn 3. Again, one attack at a time. See this button over here in the upper right? I'm supposed to be able to toggle that, and it should stop the so-called fast AI turn. But it doesn't actually seem to do that. All right, so I'm going to take that airfield. That's going to allow me to move some troops forward. If I move this guy out of here, then I can drop them in their full strength. Okay, that's good. Alright, so now I've got to deal with this troublesome armored car. Can I do that with my 88? Yes, I can. I'm going to switch him over to anti-tank mode. And then my pioneers are going to finish him off in the swamp where he's very vulnerable. And then I'm going to move my pioneers right there. My bridgers, I'm going to move them up over here. And I'm going to move my infantry attacking artillery to hit those troops at the town of, I don't know what that town is, but I'm going to also hit them with my Stuka, or not my Stuka, but my heavy duty dive bomber. Okay, I should have some ability to cross that river there pretty quick. Gonna move this artillery piece up and attack the troops in the town of Jekabils. Yeah, I've got Duvagoblips surrounded. So I'm gonna hit them. Prediction is to knock them down by 3. Knock them down by 4. Killed 4. So I'm going to use my other heavy bomber, my Ju-88A. This is just these are my light panzers. There's my heavy panzer. Gonna hit him. Gonna hit him with my Stuka. Gonna move my Bridger over there. Gonna use my rocket launchers to further weaken them. Wow, knocked him down to 9. Still can't really. Those attacks are okay. Let's see if I can get them to retreat with an attack, even though I'm going to lose it. Yeah, I did. I got them to move out of there. Okay, so I'm going to use my Panzer II, Flammen Panzer, to attack those troops at Riga. Going to use my Panzer IV to hit them. My Panzer IIIH. Or actually, my Panzer IIIH. Yeah, I'm going to use Alright, so we got a breakthrough here. Move my armored car down, reinforce these troops, move my motorcycle and my cavalry infantry forward, motorcycle recon cavalry infantry, my Stug, I can move up there, my Dickermax along the road, my 88. Well, I'm making huge progress here. I'm going to move these troops there. And now I've got 2 airfields from which I can rebase my aircraft. Okay, so I'm going to move my Stuka. Going to rebase him there, outside of Riga, along with my DO BF-110D, my 2 fighters, 2 BF-109s. That's sweet. Have a little bit more time here, and my recon storage is going to move to that airbase. And I think I've got still 1 slot left to that airbase, so I can move my. So I'm going to move my strategic bombers forward to that one because that's a full airfield. The dirt airfield here is only going to get the lighter planes and bombers. I'm going to move my BF-110D there. I'm going to move my fighter jet there, my BF-109, my scouting storage is going to move there. I'm going to actually reinforce this BF-109E. Okay, so let's get the Grenadier forward. Let's get the Wehrmacht infantry forward. Okay, so I don't know what I'm going to encounter when I get across the Zapdanaya Divina River. I don't know what I'm going to get, but when I do cross it, I'm probably going to get a counterattack. So I've got a breakthrough at Riva. Or Riga. And I'm about to break through at the towns of Jecables and Davigobuklis, but I can see that there's an armored counterattack forming just behind those rivers, so it's going to be a challenge. Okay, all right. Again, I'm going to end this turn, and I'm going to hopefully slow down their attacks so they happen one at a time. I flipped the toggle switch; didn't work last time. Let's see if it works this time. Ah, looks like it's working. They attacked my... That's it? That's all they did? Wow, they attacked my my rocket launcher. Well, my Panzer IV is going to hit them really hard. I'm going to use my scout plane to scout ahead. Let's see what's up those roads. Nothing. So I'm going to send my best tank killer and my best infantry killer forward. I'm going to reinforce... No, I'm going to use this Wolverhampton to rocket launcher to wipe that out. Put my Bridger right there. Move my... See, these guys are really well protected when they're in the cover of this shrubbery, so I'm gonna move my Panzer II Flamen tank up there. My Stug. Gonna come around from behind. Get my Dickermax across. Get my cavalry moving forward. I think those infantry are tough when they're in the shrubs, but I don't think they're that tough otherwise. So, all right, we got a Stuka here, which I'm going to use on that tank right there. I'm going to move my 2 heavy bombers forward to the Riga Air Base. They will be much more useful next turn. Okay, BF-110D. See if he can take a chunk out of them. No? Oh, no, he's in air-to-air mode. All right, I'm going to switch him to ground attack mode. Now we'll soften him up just a little bit with a harassing machine gun attack. And we will send our fighter jets out. Fighter jets. Our BF-109 fighter planes. To get after the Ruskies up here. Okay, I'm going to use heavy artillery to soften up these troops around the Jacobellis village. And we took them out. Cool. Use my infantry to move forward. Use my Panzer II scout car. My Panzer IIIF armor protection. Move my artillery forward. Move my anti-tank gun 88 forward. And move my grenadiers up where they will cause some problems. Leaving them kind of exposed because I don't know what's over here, but I don't think it's much, to be honest with you. All right, now we got to try to break through at the town of Davogilus. Okay. Start with artillery shelling. Change this to a bomber mode. He knocks down one, or he can knock down a lot more. He can do more damage to those troops there hiding out in the swamp, so he's going to do that. I'm going to scout up this way. Ooh. My grenadiers are a little exposed. Damn it. Well, let's just try to discourage these guys from attacking too heartily. See, what happens with the AI is that when you get within a certain range, they attack the nearest unit. But this guy's got some confusion because he's got several different options to attack. Hopefully, but what they tend to do is they tend to gang up on one unit and try to take them out. All right, I'm going to attack the troops at wherever it is, Davoj. I'm going to move my pioneers forward. Okay, and I got my Panzer 38T is going to come forward. And he's going to hit that tank unit. Now if I do that, yeah, okay. Take out that tank with my 88. My 88 should be protected by that anti-infantry gun. It's a little bit exposed, but I'm thinking we're good. I'm going to try to use my Fallschirmjägers to come in back here. This guy, I'm gonna reinforce him to full strength. I'm running some risks here, no question about it. I'm gonna rebase this Stuka, and if I can, rebase that BF-109 fighter. I can. Okay, I'm worried about my 88. I really am. But there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, and then where else am I worried? Oh, I'm worried about my grenadiers, so I'll give them a little support. My rocket launcher's half strength, but should be able to protect these guys a little bit. So that'll come in handy. And the last thing I'm going to move forward is my Wehrmacht infantry. I think that's my last unit. And yeah, okay, that's the completion of turn 5 for me. Let's see what happens. Again, why is it doing this? I mean, I'm trying to turn this off. Simultaneous attacks all at once is just, it's too much to figure out. Okay, let's see what they did. Yes, they attacked my 88, but my artillery protected my 88 a little bit. Gonna move him back. Gonna move infantry forward. Going to move this 88 back where he's well defended. And I'm going to move my check tank, my 38T. Did some damage there. Going to wipe out those units there. Going to move my other Fallschirmjäger over here, put him up in the air. And come in behind. So that could have come out a lot worse. I'm going to move my Pioneer unit forward. I'll reinforce these guys next turn, and I'm going to use my Stuka to hurt some Ruskies here. Support them with some harassing attacks. And harass attack their artillery. And let's see if we can scout ahead. We've got pretty much everything exposed here. Very lightly defended. Alright, now, they also did some attacks on my artillery piece here, my big heavy artillery piece. Nevertheless, I'm going to use it. And I'm going to bring down my very effective Panzer II flame tank to burn these guys to death. That hurt. I'm going to use my scout car. And I'm going to swing him around to the other side. Get my motorcycle out front. Yeah, this artillery piece is going to need reinforcement. I'm going to move my infantry forward. And again, he can move forward and deploy, but he can't attack. And I'm going to use my grenadiers to hopefully wipe out those Rushkis. And I'm going to move him forward. Alright, my fighters I'm going to use to bring down these Soviet, what is it, LAG GG3. That's my inexperienced fighter pilot, getting more experience. That was my ace. This is my ace. And if my ace fails to take him down, then I'm going to use my BF-110D. I'm going to switch him again back from bomber to fighter and finish off. I should close up these a little bit more. Finish them off. Heavy fighter, light bomber. That's the role of the BF-110D. So then I'm going to reinforce the rocket launcher a little bit. Okay, Stug 3 is going to move forward. Cavalry is going to move forward. I'm going to go out and scout this area here because I do need to take Tallinn. There's a couple of early model Soviet tanks. I haven't seen any T-34s yet. I've seen some KB-1s, but I haven't seen a T-34. So I'm going to move the Dicker Max up the road here to take on that sucker. And what's the nearest Stuka? What can he hit? Stuka can't quite reach those Soviet panzers, but he could reach this guy, this T-26. I think the T-26 is the tank the Germans expected to face in Barbarossa, but they got a lot more KB-1s and T-34s than they thought they were going to get. Meantime, my Panzer IV, well, it's an anti-tank gun. I'm not going to attack it directly, so I'm going to move my best two tanks, my Panzer IV and my Panzer IIIJ experimental tank. I'm going to move them to cut off the rail lines. So it's just a question of time. The Dicker Max, I'm going to move him up here to finish off this T-26, and then I'm going to move him, wait for him, and move him over here to attack this T-38 and the T-26 BT-5 that's up there guarding Tallinn while I move my troops up more slowly. Okay. Now I have my heavy strategic bombers I haven't been able to put into use yet. Oh, it's a shame. I could have used them on those Ruskies. But now where do I use them? Well, I'm gonna soften up that anti-tank gun. This looks like a good target for paratroopers when they get done with their roll down here around Pskov. And I'm going to use the Ju-88. What do? Do I take out this anti-tank gun? I think, yeah. So what haven't I used? My Bridger. I can move him forward up around here. Actually going to move and deploy my Bridger right there to give them somebody to attack while I reinforce my other troops. Yeah, because see, here's the thing. If my Fallschirmjägers can survive this landing and get to this airport outside Pskov, then they can be used to go on attack Tallinn. So, all right, infantry moving forward. Regular Wehrmacht infantry. Using the roads or going over land. And Bridgers. Okay, it looks like I am all set. Oh, my Panzer IIF scout car. You know, I could use a little more armored support here. I'm going to bring him down. Sorry, Panzer IIIF, and then my Panzer IIF scout car. Same thing. Because that's where the bulk of the resistance is. And my 88, move him forward. Not a lot of armor left on the Soviet side of things. Okay, there we are. That's the end of turn 6. Guys, I'm going to cut the video off right here. Got to go make breakfast and get ready for my live stream. I will be back to finish this battle off. So thank you for being here. See you soon. We're back now for turn 7 out of 20. See, the Russians have counterattacked. Again, just having a few recording issues here. I've got some reinforcement to do on my Flampanzer and my Werverhampton and my heavy anti-tank artillery. My planes are in pretty good shape. So basically, here's what I've got. I've got to get breakthrough around and take Pskov here. And finally, I've got to get Tallinn. And the Russians have foolishly come out to attack me. And I'm going to move my Dicker Max up to deal with the anti-tank roll here. And I'm going to use my motorcycle recon to hit that anti-tank gun, weaken it, and then I'm going to drop back. I'm going to use this armored car recon to take the village of Piarnu. And then I'm going to move up and threaten the airfield outside of Tolinen here. Meantime, I'm going to use my experimental Panzer 3J1 to hit that Sovietsky T-26. He's gained a star. And then I can swing through and get lined up against this wussy little T-38. I'm going to use my Panzer IV to take the town behind them. And then they're going to try to get up here and cross, take the town of Narva and cross the river. What river is this? The Narva River. Okay, I got my Stug 3. I'm going to use him to hit that anti-tank gun. My cavalry to hopefully finish him off. And then start moving my heavier infantry, including my grenadiers, forward. I'm going to use my Panzer IIF here, recon, to attack the this artillery piece from behind and weaken it. And I'm going to advance my Wehrmacht infantry forward. Now, down here, I've got some issues. I've got to reinforce my artillery and my 88. I've got my planes here. Who do I hit? Who do I hit? Who do I hit? Because I've got Pioneer infantry and I've got regular Wehrmacht infantry, neither one of which is really strong against Ruski infantry out in the open. I'm going to use it. Czech tank to attack that Soviet infantry. I'd like to get these bridgers up way up there, but that's not going to happen, so I'm just going to reinforce them. Going to move my regular Wehrmacht infantry forward. Ooh. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And wow, these guys are defending them, so it's a 9-1. Jeez. So I'm going to reinforce there. Yeah, I'm going to move my Panzer IIIF up with the pussy little 37mm gun. See if I can wipe that infantry out in the swamp that way. They don't get counterattacked by these Soviet troops because their defense counterattack is only for against soft targets, not armored targets. So I've got an overrun here, and I'm going to nudge those guys out of place and try to pin them up against the forest or the swamp, so they're going to be stuck pretty soon. And then I've got my Stukas, which I can use to hit. I'm going to hit that artillery with the Stuka, and I'm going to use my Oh, I'd like to use my Fallschirmjägers, but ooh, boy, those are terrible combat odds. Wow. Wow, it's purely these guys defending, so I'm going to have to soften them up quite a bit. Where are my big heavy bombers? I'm going to get my DO-217, and I'm going to target those guys right there. So if I go to attack, it's still 7-1. That's just really bad odds. So I'm going to move them out of the way. I'm going to land my other Fallschirmjägers. I'm going to take a lot of heavy bombardment from the air to soften them up. I'm going to hit these Soviet regulars with my other Stuka. Reinforce my fighter. There doesn't seem to be any other fighters in the air, so I'm going to take my other Ju-88 and I'm going to soften up. And I'm just going to have to continue to do that next turn because that's going to need some softening up. Okay, so I've got my Bf-110D. first of all change him over to ground attack mode. And I'm going to hit this artillery piece. Do I want to do that, or do I want to hit... I'm going to hit this tank way behind the lines in Pskov. Do him some damage. Gain some experience. Alright. I'm going to move these bridgers forward. Move these infantry forward. They're just the resistance just seems to have collapsed. There's not hardly any resistance whatsoever. I'm going to use my BF 109 to attack this artillery piece, reduce it to almost nothing. There's very little resistance here, which makes me kind of happy. Okay, I'm going to use my scout plane. Yeah, this is all shaping up. I've really got overwhelming force here, so not going to be too many more turns before this is all over. And I got my BF-110D in ground attack mode. I'm just going to do a harassing attack on these troops. Probably won't be casualties, but do it anyway, just for the experience. Okay. Alright, that is going to end turn 7 for me. And again, I hope they don't do the massive all-at-once kind of attack thing. They are. Again, I don't know how to turn this fucking thing off. I mean, it's just instantaneous, simultaneous attack. And I can't turn it off. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to move my experimental Panzer III over here to attack this T-38. If I were to move in and attack further, I would get hammered by the troops there. I'm going to move my armored car in, reinforce him to take the airfield. I'm going to take the Panzer IV and move it over towards this town, the town of Narva, and really he's just going to kind of reinforce up there. He's just going to stay outside the town and not really do much of anything else. For this turn, I'm going to take out the artillery here, reinforce my troops. My infantry there. And again, using the heavy bomber attack. I'm going to try to weaken the resistance here. So heavy strategic bomber attack there, another one on the artillery piece. So that they can't really back up. Now remember, I have Master of Blitzkrieg as one of my commander traits, so I can move tanks across minor rivers fairly easily. That is an unusual thing. I'm going to take out this Soviet infantry here. Move forward. Move my anti-infantry artillery up. Weaken those guys even further. Probably could use my Wolverhampton rocket launchers. I keep calling them that. I don't know what they really are. Ooh, okay, so my long-range artillery can also hit those guys. So when I attack this anti-tank gun, it should be pretty minor resistance now, as opposed to 7 to 1 or 10 to 1 odds. Got much better odds. I'm going to move my propulsion gators over here. Those guys are almost wiped out. And I got my Panzer IIIF. Move him up, see if I can finish off those troublesome heavy weapons infantry. Because they were responsible for a lot of that resistance in attacking this reinforced position outside the town. Okay. Flamen tank, gonna move him forward. Stuka number to... Gonna just try to bomb these guys here. These guys are gonna go next turn. Not do anything. And I could finish off this T-26, but I kind of want to get my Dicker Max in on this, so hopefully he doesn't attack and get counterattacked and all that stuff. Alright, I think I'm well set up here. I'm going to move my infantry forward. Put the attack onto Linen. And my BF-110D, I'm just going to move him in there and harass the attack. And nothing happens. Alright. Again, Soviet resistance doesn't even exist practically. So... Yeah, I'm going to attack this anti-tank gun with my other Stuka. I don't think it will do a lot. I knocked him down by one. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Alright. End of turn 8 to 20. If I flip on this... Okay, so I just changed the mode. So will I get the full, complete attacking from all over the place thing all at once? Let's zoom out and find out. Okay. Oh, I got nothing. They didn't attack me at all. Okay. Okay, artillery, these guys, pioneers, regular infantry, Fallschirmjägers, moving forward, T-30, 38T, 838T. Panzer is going to attack AT-7. Moving my regular infantry up here. Going to get some support from Ju-88 heavy bomber. My attack odds to 4 to 1. Gonna move those infantry to cross through that swamp. Gonna move my Dicker Max up over here to finish off that Soviet tank. Does a good job. And I'm gonna put the Grenadiers up there. Okay, let's see where we are up north. Oh, sounds like there's a goal out there in the game. Leicester City and Aston Villa. All right, I'm going to use my other heavy strategic bomber, my better one, my DO-217, to bomb the guys at Linen. I'm going to go into a holding pattern with them, and I'm going to move my troops around Narva. I'm going to attack them from 2 different angles. Okay, I'm going to use my... Going to back my Panzer IV out of there because he's useless against infantry. Entrenched infantry, Panzer IV is not going to do anything for you. I'm going to use my Stuka 3 to hit him. Weaken him a little bit. Gonna move my my regular infantry. I'm gonna go seize the dock. Gonna move my regular infantry up this way. Looks like this town of Gudov is wide open. Okay, I'm gonna move my artillery pieces forward. I need more heavy artillery. That's what I need. Got these guys here for the river crossing. Not going to do any good. BF-110D. Going to use them against that tank. And everything everything else is pretty static. Okay. Once again, I think I had the attack and I didn't get to see it. Okay, both of these Panzer units are fairly experienced here. I'm going to use the Czech tank, the T-38. I get an overrun. I'm going to run up behind the city of Pskov. Attack the anti-tank gun there. In the town of Ostrov, and I'm going to move my other Fallschirmjägers in to finish them off. Going to move my Grenadiers over here to take the airport. My regular infantry are going to surround the city. And I'm going to use my artillery pieces to soften them up. I don't have any artillery up north, so I'm going to have to count on my long-range bombers, my strategic bombers, my DO-217, to once again soften up. See, they've reinforced again. Now, see, this Panzer IIIJ tank killer, you know, he's down to 14 because I only got 15 units of it, so there's nothing there to substitute with or replace. So does this Ju-88 reach? Yes, the Ju-88 will reach Narva. So I'm going to bomb Narva from high. That's going to hurt. I'm going to hit him with my Stug 3, which is going to hurt him a little bit. I'm going to approach from behind with my cavalry and from the front with my Wehrmacht infantry and attack them both. And I'm going to use my Panzer IV to take the town. Okay, the only two targets left are Pskov and Narva. And then this little town here of Gudov. Alright. Everything else can just get reinforced. Okay, no response at all. Going to use my DO-217 on the troops at Pskov. This should be brutal. Knocked him down 3. Gotta shell him. And I'm going to use my Grenadiers to take that town. Now all I've got left is to take Gudov. And now it's time to hit Linen. Gonna bomb him from gonna move my Wehrmacht infantry and my Stug out here. Might be one more turn. Yeah. Okay, next turn. Oh, he reinforced again. +7. Alright, fine. To Linen, you are ready to fall. Oh, I'm gonna really brutal that. -7. Another goal. Okay, now I gotta move my Stug 3 up. Actually, I'm not gonna move him there. I'm gonna move him north of the city. Strike him from there. use my Wehrmacht infantry. And take him out with my special. I love this tank. It's too bad I don't have any replacements for him. I can only, 14 is his maximum strength because he's not going to last too many more campaigns. All right, and we'll take the final town. That is a victory for Barbarossa North. Here's my kitty Khaleesi. And that's it. We will be back with the next mission for Fedor, which is going to be Army Group Center. I think Army Group Center is going to be a lot more of a meat grinder than Army Group North was. Army Group North had it pretty easy. Okay, see you next time.